In this video, we're going to look at how one company has come to dominate online dating and probably your love life. Think of a popular dating app. Go on, take a second and think of a popular dating app. Well, chances are that app is probably owned by a company called Match Group. Match Group dominates online dating. It owns Match, obviously, Tinder, Hinge, OkCupid, Plenty of Fish, Meetic, Pairs, Our Time, and a ton more. Match Group collects dating apps in the same way that Thanos from the Avengers collects those Infinity Stones. Another one. Yeah, okay, so to be fair, it doesn't own Bumble, but the founder of Bumble used to work at Match. So, in a way, even she has roots back at Match Group. To understand how Match Group got here, we need to understand how dating has evolved. The internet is becoming the main way that people are meeting each other now. Look at this graph. This graph shows how couples have met. The brighter red line is people meeting online. That line has basically gone parabolic. Nearly half of all couples today meet each other online. To be fair, not all of that is through dating apps. Some of it is sliding through DMs or other parts of social media, but online dating has definitely been a big driver of that. Match Group has ridden this wave more than any other company. Last year, it generated nearly $1 billion in cash. Its biggest brand by far is Tinder. Tinder dominates dating. Let's put this into perspective. There's about 800 million unmarried adults in the world, and amazingly, 1 in 8 of those people are on Tinder. Tinder has roughly 100 million active users. Usually, when a company has such a monopoly in a sector or space, regulators start running after them, right? It's like a game of cops and robbers. But in the case of Match Group, because online dating is still a pretty small market in terms of the amount of money it makes, they've been able to kind of quietly build what's effectively, it might not be a monopoly, but they've got a very strong position. The Match Group management team must feel like they hold a pair of aces every time they go to work. Who did they have to compete with in the pure online dating space? Bumble? Maybe a handful of other names? To be fair, Match Group doesn't just compete with dating apps. Some dating apps are not dating apps, if you know what I mean. Okay, let me break it down. Instagram, for example. From what I've heard, if you use Instagram correctly, it can be a dating app of sorts, especially if you're the type of person to be very active on Instagram. Then for those people, it can be a good way to make romantic connections. Facebook also runs a dating product, but it's periphery for Facebook. I think part of why Match Group has quietly built this position is that for a company like Meta, even if they were to capture the whole dating market, it's so small relative to Meta's existing business that it's not worth it for them. Even if Facebook was to buy Match Group, for example, it would only add $3 billion to their revenues. Facebook did $118 billion last year. It barely scratches the surface. Mark Zuckerberg would jump out the window if he woke up and had Match Group's cash flows. Now, if you think about it, romantic relationships fill some of our deepest needs. No, not those needs, you dog, but seriously, they fill some of our deepest human needs. What's amazing is that the leading company in the online dating industry only makes $3 billion in revenue. And it's a very profitable business, don't get me wrong. Match Group is very profitable, fantastic margins. I mean, look at those margins. Ridiculous. So yeah, they're doing great, but it's so small relative to how important relationships are in our lives. That just seems a bit of a mismatch or a juxtaposition. You'd think the company that helps you meet your special person would generate more money. What is interesting about this space is that we're probably not in the final iteration of what online dating will look like. I don't know if you've seen the show called Black Mirror. There's an episode on Black Mirror where there's this app, and basically the app, it's called Hang the DJ, a cool episode. It's set sometime in the future, and this app matches people together. It kind of knows who's the perfect person for you, but before you meet that person, you go through a series of relationships, I assume to grow. What's crazy is the app can predict how long you'll be with that person. Of course, today in 2022, that sounds kind of far-fetched, but who knows? Maybe technology will get to the point where one day it won't know how long you'll be together maybe, but it'll know who the most optimal person is, which is kind of crazy to think. There's also the movie Her, set sometime in the future. Some of the characters date operating systems, and again, it sounds far-fetched today, but perhaps elements of that movie are a glimpse into our future.